My children never felt safe when we were homeless. And I think that they would play and try to be normal children, but I felt like I was not worth anything. I felt worthless as a mom. We were sometimes in the car, sometimes in hotels. I was assaulted 3 times. I was just always in fear, not sure where I was going to be, not sure what I should do.
And Cheyenne starts screaming, I want to go home. I'm like, Cheyenne, we don't have a home right now. So then we end up, that's really sad. The only thing I can think of was God doesn't put me through anything I can't handle, and I felt like I couldn't handle any of it anymore. After my kids kept screaming, I want to go home, and I'm like, me too.
3 months after I got hired on at my current job, they told me that I made too much, so they were cutting my food stamps. So it left me the choice to pay my rent or feed my kids. It wasn't enough for them. So October 31st, they evicted us. So we were living in my car for a few days till I could get payday, and then I would take literally my whole paycheck to pay for what I could in a hotel room. Usually it only ended up to be a few days, and then we would be back in the car.
I think maybe the 27th, that's when the power went out. So I'm like, man, I'm never gonna catch up. I'm never gonna get anything done. And it was hard because the teachers are looking at me like, what are you doing with your kids? And I'm like, they're just going through something. They're not used to what we're going through. So I wasn't taking them to school. So I said, okay, maybe that'll help them back on their same routine. I took them to school and their behavior was horrible. Cheyenne would stand on her cot and scream at the top of her lungs, I want to go home, I want to get in bed. And Peyton was like, she wouldn't sleep, she wouldn't eat, she was like cursing, she was pushing kids, and Peyton's the sweetest kid I know. She doesn't hurt anyone.
My kids are Chloe and Caleb, they're like night and day. But during this process, I did notice that Caleb is who it took the biggest toll on. He withdrew into himself and kind of became a shell of who he really was. And it was hard to watch him do that as his mom.
My children really are super people, so sweet, so well-mannered, and so polite. But during this time when we were sleeping in a car, they started questioning me and being a little bit disrespectful. And I felt like my life was spinning out of control. Just on the hope that something might go good, I came out here and I had an interview at Vine Maple Place. And she said, well, I do have a place for you. And I started crying and I said, are you serious? I can't believe this. And she said, yes, I have a place for you and we can go see it right now if you want to. And I was so happy. I couldn't believe it.
Got accepted into the program that day. Was able to move my kids out of the car into a 2-bedroom apartment for once. Like I felt the weight leave my shoulders the minute I walked through the door.
She runs in and she goes, can I go in my room? And I'm like, don't ask me that, go in your room. She runs in there, she's like, my bed, my toys, my curtains, everything. She's a thumb sucker, so when I found her, she was just laying in her bed with her thumb in her mouth.
The kids came into the program. They were a little bit slower to open up than they usually are. Once they decided that these were good people, they started to play more. They started to see that the community that we were in wasn't dangerous. They stopped being, distrustful. And I just think that's great. The sense of community that they were able to feel. The people here are so accepting and genuine. My children, when they started going to school again, did so wonderful. They excelled at everything that they put their mind to.
After being in the apartment for a few weeks, the kids, I could tell they were coming back to their regular self. Chloe had almost the same reaction that I did. She's like, Mom, this is so big. I'm like, I know, right? Caleb, I'm so proud of him. He's, for the first time in his life, talking about going to college. His dreams are to go to college and be drafted by the NFL.
Now that we're all stable in our apartment, my kids, I'm very hopeful for them.
I do feel stable, and I feel like now I can focus on making steps towards my success.
Without Vine Maple Place, it wouldn't have been possible. We would have still been out there. There's not enough thank yous that I could give.
Everything you guys do helps everyone.
Maybe we're not exactly all the way healed, but being able to come here and have a support system, knowing that we have hope for the future, is the most important thing to the healing process.